Okay, so we're diving into Scrooge today.
Yeah.
You know that Bill Murray
Oh, yeah.
Christmas movie.
Right, right.
It's kind of a classic, I think. A lot of people really like this movie.
Yeah, it's a fun one.
It's got some bite to it though.
Yeah.
It's not just a nice sweet Christmas movie.
No, not at all.
It's got some edge.
Right.
And so what we're looking at today is we've got some excerpts from a podcast script.
Okay.
And it kind of goes into, why this movie is still relevant today.
Interesting.
Why people are still watching it and what they're getting out of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because it is a modern take, right? I mean, we're talking about a movie from the 80s, but,
Yeah.
It's still a Christmas Carol.
Right.
It's still that same basic story, right? The three ghosts and the redemption.
Yep.
But there's something about it that still really resonates with people today.
Yeah, and it's fascinating how they take that familiar story and just kind of like flip it on its head.
Right.
It's,
Yeah.
Ebenezer Scrooge is now a TV executive, Frank Cross.
Yeah, and it's Bill Murray.
Murray.
You can't go wrong with Bill Murray.
And he's so good.
He's just so cynical.
So cynical.
He's perfect for that role.
He's just obsessed with ratings,
Yeah.
Like he'll do anything to get those ratings.
Yeah.
And he's willing to, completely exploit Christmas for profit.
It's like he doesn't even care about Christmas. It's just another opportunity.
Yeah, just another show to put on.
Right, to make money.
And the fact that they came up with this idea of him doing a live televised version of like Scrooge.
Yeah.
With exploding Christmas tree.
Oh yeah, that's such a great scene.
Oh, it's so good.
Like over the top and hilarious.
So ridiculous, and it's just so satirical.
Absolutely.
It's like it's poking fun at the entire entertainment industry.
And it works so well.
Oh, it's brilliant.
So clever.
And one of the things that I find really interesting is the whole Bill Murray is known for his improv.
Oh yeah.
And there's a lot of ad-libbing in this film.
Really?
Yeah, like there are entire scenes that were not in the original script.
Wow, I didn't know that.
And they just kind of let them go.
That's amazing.
And it adds this whole other layer to the movie.
Right, like this unpredictable energy.
Exactly.
You never know what's going to happen next.
You never know what he's going to say.
That must have been fun to be on set.
Oh, I can imagine.
Just watching him work.
And, you've got Carol Kane.
Oh, Carol Kane.
Ghost of Christmas Present.
Oh, she's brilliant.
So good. So funny.
Yeah.
And she's got this manic energy.
Yeah. Yeah, she's just like all over the place.
Yeah. And they're bouncing off of each other, and it's just chaotic.
It's perfect.
It's brilliant.
It's so funny.
It's so funny.
I love that scene.
It's one of the best scenes in the movie.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure. But I have to say, some of the supporting characters, like,
yeah.
I don't know, like Bobcat Goldthwait.
Oh, Bobcat Goldthwait.
As the disgruntled employee.
Yeah.
He's almost too over the top.
Right.
Do you ever feel like it kind of distracts a little bit?
Yeah, I can see that.
From Bill Murray's performance?
Yeah, like it's interesting because I think some critics, and I would kind of agree with this, they felt like the film sometimes went a little too far into caricature.
Right.
Like sacrificing some of the emotional depth that you might expect from, a Christmas movie.
Like a Christmas redemption story?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, it's supposed to be heartwarming and
right.
And this one it's funny.
Yeah.
But it's also kind of cynical.
Yes, very cynical.
Yeah, and I think that's what makes it so interesting. Like,
yeah.
It's not just a feel-good movie. It's like it's making you think a little bit.
Yeah, and it's holding up a mirror to society.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, even back in the 80s,
Yeah, I mean, think about it. Like, Frank's obsession with ratings.
Yeah.
His whole, drive to produce this big Christmas special.
Right.
It's like a commentary on how we lose sight of what really matters.
Yeah.
Like, we're so focused on these superficial goals,
yeah.
and we forget about, the people around us, the relationships,
Mm-hmm.
the things that are actually important.
Right.
Does that resonate with you at all?
Oh, all the time.
Yeah.
I think we all get caught up in that.
Right.
In that chase for something. Whether it's ratings or money or
success, whatever
it is.
Fame.
Yeah. And the movie really shows the consequences of that mindset.
It does.
When Frank goes through his past, his present, his potential future.
Yeah.
It's like he's forced to confront the emptiness of his life.
Right.
The relationships he's damaged.
Yeah.
And it's actually quite powerful. especially considering the comedic tone.
Yeah. Right.
You wouldn't expect to get that kind of emotional depth from this movie.
Yeah, but it's there.
But it is there.
It's subtle, but it's definitely there.
And visually, too, like the way they use those contrasts.
Oh, yeah.
You have these bright, almost cartoonish scenes.
Yeah.
Like with the Ghost of Christmas Present.
Yeah.
That whole scene is just
Chaotic. Crazy.
But then you have these darker, more somber moments.
Right.
Where he's really kind of introspective and thinking about his life.
Yeah, it's like they're playing with your emotions.
Yeah.
Like 1 minute you're laughing,
Yeah.
and the next minute you're like, oh, wow, this is actually kind of sad. It's really effective.
It's really effective.
And I think that's part of what makes it so compelling. Like, you're not sure what to expect.
Right.
And it keeps you engaged.
Absolutely. So what do you think? Does this movie still hold up today?
I think so.
With all its over-the-top humor.
Yeah.
And its cynicism.
I mean, it's definitely a product of its time.
Right.
But I think the themes are still relevant. Like greed, redemption.
Yeah.
The importance of human connection.
Right.
Those are things that we're still grappling with today.
Absolutely.
More than ever, I think.
Yeah, and especially now, with the media landscape being even more saturated than it was in the 80s.
Right, like it's everywhere.
Yeah.
We're constantly bombarded with messages.
Yeah.
Trying to sell us something.
Right.
Trying to get our attention. And I think that makes Frank's journey even more relevant.
Yeah, more relevant.
Because he's struggling with that same thing. Like, how do you stay true to yourself in this world where everyone's trying to manipulate you to get something from you?
Yeah, it's a really interesting question.
It is.
And I think the movie does a good job of exploring that.
I think so, too.
So, for you, our listener, what do you think?
What do you get out of this movie?
Does Scrooged still have something to teach us?
I mean, it's funny.
Yeah.
But it's also thought-provoking.
It is.
And I think that's a rare combination.
Yeah.
To find a movie that can make you laugh and make you think at the same time.
Absolutely.
So I would say, it definitely still holds up.
Okay, so here's a final thought for you.
Okay.
If Frank Cross existed today, with all the pressures, all the opportunities of the modern media landscape, do you think his redemption would be even harder?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Or would it be, like, even more profound?
I mean, it's hard to say, but it's definitely something to think about. Like, would he be able to find his way back to what really matters in this world where there's so much noise, so much distraction? It's a tough question.
Yeah.
But it's an interesting one.
Absolutely.
And I think that's what makes Scrooged such a great movie.
Yeah, I think so too.
It's entertaining.
Yeah.
But it stays with you.
Yeah.
It makes you think.
Absolutely.
And I think that's the mark of a truly great film.
Yeah, I agree.
So yeah, I'm glad we got to dive into Scrooged today.
Me too.
Yeah.
It's always a good time to revisit a classic.
Absolutely.
And especially one that has so much to say.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
And we'll see you next time.
See you later.